Video games. We've all played them, and if not, I don't know why you clicked on this video, but welcome. I've gone through some video game lost media and creepypasta horror stories in the past, but I think it's time to go into real video game horror stories. Your computer getting affected by malware or viruses. I think everyone has had a virus impact their computer at least once in their life. I remember back in 2013, I tried downloading a Wii U emulator on my piece of shit laptop. It got so bad, I fried the motherboard to it. You could not run Wii U games on this thing. Well, I think malware on its own is interesting enough. In fact, I watch a couple of YouTubers just talk about malware because I think it's really interesting. I want to talk about something very different about malware. Video games that have become malware through updates, hacks, or whatever. So that's what I want to talk about today, and I want to start off by talking about this game that I played a few years ago as a joke, Bean Battles. On the 15th of February 2024, the third-person shooter video game Bean Battle received multiple updates. The first removed almost everything from the game. It left a few core data files, the executable, and some DLLs. The next three updates would configure some files and change some DLLs, and while it wasn't apparent to the people downloading this update, Bean Battles had been compromised. An employee at Group of Games, the developers of Bean Battle, had their Steam account hacked, meaning the hackers could push whatever they wanted to the game in an update, in this case installing a Trojan called Epson Stealer, which mainly targets users' passwords for Steam or something, and also crypto account wallets. Bean Battles wasn't a huge seller, with its peak play count being 286, let's get that changed, guys. There were still 6,700 reviews of the game, meaning this definitely sold a few copies and people were affected by this. On the same day the update was pushed, a Steam news announcement went out from the developers titled Big Update. Big update, all bug fixed, have fun playing it. Looking through previous posts, it's incredibly obvious this is a different person typing all this, though it is a little bit shitposty in tone, so I could imagine someone looking at this and going, "Oh, thank you for patching all the bugs," sarcastically. Allegedly, this was patched less than a day later. Finding details on this has been a bit difficult as their Twitter isn't archived and seem to delete tweets about the topic, and there's also nothing on their Discord server about it. I think all the messages were deleted, which is actually a bit of a shame. I remember being in the Discord server for this game and seeing all hell break loose. Multiple sources I found say the game was patched on the 16th. Either way, I think there's a bit of blame to put on the developers for obviously not having their account secure, but in case you didn't know, Valve doesn't actually check update files for games that have been published. They only check the initial exe that you give when you submit your game to Valve. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that Valve should take a look at every single update pushed. There are so many games on Steam that would take forever. You could have to hire a whole different team just to handle that. But maybe if there's a certain amount of file changes or like core executable changes, Valve has to take a look at that, because things like this can happen, and as you'll see throughout this video, do happen. Garry's mod is one of my favorite games of all time, mainly because of all the random shit you can get up to in this game. It's just so fun. I love playing TTT as Thanos Homer Simpson or getting RDM'd by MatPat from Game Theory. It's all great stuff. Not all of these add-ons are created equally, however. For every beautiful crafted map, you have some dupe of a workshop add-on you haven't seen that's been deleted for 12 years. A recent trend on the Gmod workshop has been modifying code, sometimes years after the add-on has been released. This has happened a surprising amount of times throughout the game's history. In 2014, a cough virus was released, which worked by installing a DLL on the user's computer, making it so that you would spam cough in the Gmod chat, it would change your keybind, change your Steam name, and also spread itself to other computers. Though this was swiftly patched by Garry, you might have heard of him before, it's kind of his mod after all. But it definitely showed that you could definitely get people to install malware through a Gmod add-on. The latest example of this happening to Gmod, yes, there are multiple examples, was the June workshop incident, which was definitely the first time I'd heard of a game getting updated to include malware in it. In June of 2022, many Gmod add-ons were most infamously the Glue library, which added more Lua functionality for people to use in Gmod, which is like a programming language. I don't really know, it's all above my head, honestly. Was updated to flash an image known as Goatsy on the user's computer if it was installed. Now, if you don't know what Goatsy is, it's this very disgusting image of someone like spreading out their asshole to the camera. I can't show it for obvious reasons, and I don't recommend you go and check it out. I'm just telling you what it is. This shocked many people and prompted thousands to check through the workshop add-ons until the culprit was eventually found, being Glue. The author of Glue had actually written a message in the code of his add-on showing extreme anger for Steam, Garry, and Gabe, and people who asked him to update his workshop add-ons. While this may seem like an isolated incident with the author being banned, it did inspire so many copycats, and even the author of Glue themselves going and updating more of their add-ons to do even more horrible shit. Another infamous one was the author of a troll-face player model updating the add-on to include SpongeBob saying racial and homophobic slurs to the user, as well as including a message that Garry was a cuck. This person wasn't even hacked at all, they were just doing a little bit of trolling, and I kind of respect that a little bit, but still, it's so weird. And there were so many other ones, especially rumors of crypto wallet stealers being around, but I did not find any evidence of this. I haven't played Slay the Spire, and that's probably a good thing. I've heard it's one of the most addicting games out there, and Balatro already has my life taken over, so I'll just keep it one step at a time. There was a fan-made expansion in the game called Downfall, which was a reversal of the main campaign, as far as I know. It got a standalone release on Steam, which is honestly really cool. Unfortunately, on Christmas Day 2023, developers experienced a major security breach where for 1 hour, the exe of the game was replaced with a Unity installer that would place malware on your Windows PC, and it would try and find passwords to your accounts. After the hour was over, the developers got their Steam accounts back, though not their Discords, and quickly managed to nuke the entire game build, meaning people weren't able to launch their game at all, but no more people would be affected by it. Some people were quite sorry towards developers, some people were quite mad, and some were just happy that the virus only went after Windows machines and not Linux. Yes, that's another reason why we should all probably switch over to Linux. While I was researching this video, somehow another case of this happened, but it's probably the least surprising one ever. You know, Wallpaper Engine, that software on Steam lets you have moving wallpapers. It's pretty cool, right? Well, not only can you just have websites or videos, but also exe files as your background. You can see where I'm going with this, can't you? It was really only a matter of time until this happened, and it's probably happened before. This story was broken in an incredible article by securelist.com, but I'll just give a quick summary. This Trojan mostly targeted NSFW anime wallpapers, so if you're not a gooner, you're probably safe, but it's still good just to make sure you're not using any exe wallpapers, and if you do, make sure you know what they are. When the wallpaper would open its exe, that would be the Trojan. Then it would open another exe, being the game in your wallpaper. The Trojan would then look to hijack your Steam profile and install other viruses and malware on your PC. Very typical Trojan stuff. I just can't believe it's taken this long, honestly. It's Wallpaper Engine. This should be happening every day as far as I'm concerned. Don't install exe wallpapers. You are smarter than that. This issue goes so much deeper than just the select games I've mentioned, however. On the 13th of March 2026, the FBI announced they were investigating games on Steam that would contain malware. They specifically mentioned releases like Pirate Fire, Blockblaster's Lampy, and a few others. Blockblasters is quite infamous as it ended up stealing 150,000 in crypto wallets, including $32,000 from a crypto wallet that was being used by a streamer to cover their cancer treatment. Yeah. With many cases like this, the game studio developer gets hacked and their game gets replaced by a crypto stealer or something. And thankfully with Blockblasters, there were a lot of evidence linking the hacker to everything, all of which was uncovered in this hilariously written Google Doc. Pirate Fire was also an infamous one I remember hearing about a bit, with the game also similarly being updated to include malware that steals Bitcoin. Allegedly, someone was promoting the game on Bitcoin, claiming to pay $17 an hour to play the game, which was just getting people to install the game so their data would be stolen. Great attempt of that one guy. With cases like I've mentioned, Valve will often email any user affected, just giving them an email being like, hey, you're fucked, to reinstall Windows, but I still think there needs to be a better system in place for this to happen. I think it's great to praise Valve for letting people know in the first place, but holy fuck, this is a billion-dollar company. That is the bare minimum. I don't know why we have to put a billion-dollar company on a pedestal for doing what should be the bare minimum right thing, ignoring every other good thing that Valve actually does, unironically. I would love to offer some suggestions on what could be done, but honestly, I don't know what to do in this case. It is a very terrifying thing. Obviously, you could just say, like I was saying earlier, get Valve employees to look at the updates, but there are so many games on Steam, in the tens of thousands. I don't know how practical that's going to be. If this keeps getting worse though, I think Valve will definitely have to make a more permanent move. While I was researching the Slay the Spire section of the video, the developer Michael Mayhem said Valve do tell developers on Steam how to be protective of security breaches, so maybe I should give them more credit, but I'd also have to be a developer myself and see that kind of protection to comment further on that.